Equations of lines in point slope form. So, question, how many pieces of information do we need to find an equation of a unique line? Well, we have written lines where we have the slope and the y-intercept, the slope and a point, or 2 points. Because essentially, each time you have a slope and a point. When you have 2 points, you can find the slope first and then plug it in. And the slope and y-intercept, that's basically a point and a slope as well. So we need the slope and a point. We have done, up until now, we have talked about y equals mx plus b, the slope-intercept form. We've talked about standard form, which is ax plus by equals c. Now we're going to talk about what's called point-slope form. x1, y1 is a given point, and m is the slope of the line. So it's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Now, recall, when we were given the slope of the y-intercept, if I gave you the slope equals 2, y-intercept equals negative 3, here, this was the slope, this was the y-intercept, and we just plugged it in. Y equals 2x minus 3. In point-slope form, when you're given a point and a slope, all you're going to do is plug it in. You have m, your point goes in for x1 and y1. This is going to be our go-to equation because it is essentially the easiest one to do when you're given the slope and a point. Okay? Obviously, if you're given the slope and the y-intercept, you're going to use slope-intercept form. But if you're given a point and a slope, this is going to be our go-to equation. Okay? So let's look at some problems. So the general equation, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So write the equation of a line that passes through each point with a given slope using point-slope form. So our point goes in for x1 and y1. Our slope goes in for m. So again, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. We just plug in. Y minus 1 equals 4 times x minus 2. And that's it. You can leave it like that. Okay? The next one. Our point is x1, y1. Our slope is our m. So again, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So y minus 2, because that's our y1, equals m, which is 5/6, times x minus negative 7, minus a negative means plus 7. And that's our equation. Now, let me tell you a little bit about this point-slope formula. Remember when we found slope? It was y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That equals our slope. Well, if you put m over 1 and you cross multiply, you get y2 minus y1 equals m times x2 minus x1, which is where that comes from. Okay, just to give you an idea. All right, so again, rewrite the formula. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. I hope you are repeating this along with me because the more you say it, the more likely you are to remember it. So write the equation of the line that passes through the 2 points in point-slope form. What do we have to do when we're given 2 points? What do you need to do first? Find the slope. So our slope, here's x1, y1, x2, y2. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 gives us 4 over negative 4, which is negative 1. So now my slope is negative 1. Pick one of the points, it doesn't matter which one. And I'm going to do both. If I choose the first one, then in my equation, I get y minus, so this is x1 and y1, y minus 5 equals m, which is negative 1, times x minus 2. Or if we had chosen our point, so our slope is still -1, if we had chosen our point to be -2, 9, you would have y minus, now this is y1, y minus 9 equals -1 times x minus a -2 means x plus 2. So when you are given 2 points, either equation is a valid solution. And let me tell you why. If we were to distribute, that's -x plus 2. So I have y minus 5 equals -x plus 2. And then if I add the 5, I have y equals -x plus 7. On the bottom one, that's -x minus 2. So y minus 9 equals -x minus 2. If I add the 9, I get y equals -x plus 7. So they are equivalent. They look different, but they are equivalent. Okay, so that's why when you're given 2 points, it doesn't matter which point you choose, and my answer would be this or this. And you don't have to give both, you just have to give one of them. Okay? Next, through the points 3, -1, and -4, 7, so x1, y1, x2, y2, so my slope, 7 minus a -1 over -4 minus 3, that becomes 8 over -7. So -8/7 is my slope. And if my point is 3, -1, it's x1 and y1, it would be y minus a -1 becomes y plus 1 equals -8/7 times x minus 3. Or if we had chosen the point -4, 7, y minus 7 equals -8/7 times x minus a -4 is x plus 4. So either one you could give. Okay? Next, remember when we said this is our go-to equation? This is where this applies. Okay, this is write the equation line that passes through the 2 points in standard form or in slope-intercept form. The first thing obviously we need to do is find our slope and find our slope. Okay, so when you have x1 and y1, x2 and y2, our slope, okay, is 7 minus a -1 over -4 minus 3. This is the one we just did, 8 over -7. So what I do when I take one of my points, so if I say I take the first point and I have y minus a -1 becomes y plus 1 equals m times x minus 3. Write it in this form first, okay? Because now what happens is you can transform this form into both of the other forms, all right? And how we do that is simply by distributing. So to write it in slope-intercept form, that's where y is by itself. So the first thing we do is distribute. So that's going to be y plus 1 equals -8/7 x plus 24 over 7. And then we minus the 1. So basically minus 7 over 7. So 24 minus 7 is 17 over 7. So you get y equals -8/7 x plus 17 over 7. Okay, so that right there is your slope-intercept form. Now, it's standard form. Standard form, recall that we cannot have any fractions. So from our beginning equation, we need to get rid of that fraction. And how do we get rid of it? By multiplying by the denominator. Okay, so here we distribute 7y plus 7 equals, the 7's cancel, we distribute a -8, -8x plus 24. From there, we're going to add 8x, and then minus the 7. So that cancels. We have 8x plus 7y equals 24 minus 7 is 17. So there you are in standard form, there you are in slope-intercept. Okay, so basically when you need to write an equation in any other form, if you're given 2 points, it is easiest to write it in point slope and then just do your algebra and transform it over. Okay, just so you know. All right, so next, here's some weird ones. Write an equation for the given information. Well, here, when we do the slope, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, we get 0. So if you're doing slope or point slope form, which we talked about, so say this is x1 and y1, you would have y minus 5 equals 0 times x minus 2. Well, 0 times x minus 2 is just 0. And then add the 5, you get y equals 5. Okay. This one, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, that's 10 over 0. That is undefined. And we've talked about that. There's no slope there. Our x values are both -4, so x equals -4. That's just a little remember when. Okay, you don't want to forget those. When the y's are equal, it's just y equals that number. When the x's are equals, it is x equals that number. Okay, so this one right here, our slope, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, so our slope is 1. Through this point, y minus 1 equals 1 times x minus 4, given that there's your x1 and y1. Okay? This one, what's our slope here? 0. Remember, 0 fun. So 0 along a flat horizontal line that goes through the y-axis at 2. So y equals 2. All right, so here are your u-tries. Write the point slope form of the equation, one given the point and a slope, one given 2 points, one given the graph. Okay, and then number 4, write the first one in standard form and graph it. All right, so there you go there. And let's scroll down, maybe. There we go. There's one u-try page. I believe this is just, yeah, the same u-try page, so just one of them. And then the warm-up. Yep, so that is it. That is it for this slide for topic 10. So go ahead and try the u-tries, and we will go over it tomorrow. Thank you, and have a good night.